G'day guys, this is Jay here, Journey of a Whitefeather, opinions and views, the Robin Hood effect. Doing a lot of stuff these days. We've got kangaroos, koalas, Steve Irwin impersonations, of course. Talk to a lot of great people. And look, love to have a chat about certain topics that have come up, and I've watched a few videos. You know, I love pro wrestling. You know, I love, retro, anything retro, metal, all those 80s kind of things. Look at the 80s style that I've got. There was a lot of things in the 80s that happened. And yeah, very interesting conversation. We're going to have a quick conversation today about, I guess it comes down to why I think people have been, I guess, oppressed in some way and pushing their oppression onto society these days because of what happened in the past. You can see the reasons why people are doing what they're doing, and we'll go into it in a minute. I want you to watch this clip first, ladies and gentlemen. A show, Saved by the Bell. I think you have to remember it.
It's all right, 'cause I'm saved by the bell. If the teacher pops a test, I know I'm in
Okay, it was something, one of those high school sitcoms. Tiffany Amber Thiessen, she was in it, one who went on to 90210. And there was a lot. Mario Lopez, that's the other one. Mario Lopez, I think he was on Pacific Blue. I think that show where the cops are riding around on the bikes, and he's become a great MC and entertainer in the future. But this one's very interesting. I want you to have a look at this clip. It's all about racism. Now, that's a bit of a word, but have a listen to this and tell me what you think in the comments, because I'm going to have my view after we listen to this.
Fact 14. NBC forced producers to fire Lark Voorhees multiple times because executives thought she was too dark-skinned for Saturday morning television.
This is terrible. I feel awful.
Oh, don't worry about it, Byron. I'll be okay.
Yeah, but can you dance on that ankle?
Well, the doctor...
Lark Voorhees faced racist network pressure throughout Saved by the Bell's run that nearly destroyed her career. Voorhees was the only black main cast member playing Lisa Turtle. NBC executives expressed concerns about her skin tone from day one. Internal memos obtained years later revealed executives wanted Lisa to be lighter-skinned or white. Producers refused to fire Voorhees but faced constant network pressure. NBC suggested reducing her screen time. They requested she be lit differently to appear lighter on camera. Cinematographers were told to overexpose shots featuring Voorhees. The racism was blatant and systematic. Voorhees knew what was happening, but couldn't speak out without losing her job. During season 3, NBC threatened to cancel the show unless producers reduced Voorhees to recurring status instead of main cast. Producers refused. The standoff created tension. NBC compromised by demanding Lisa's storylines focus on shopping and fashion instead of substantive plots. The character became a stereotype. Voorhees was devastated watching her role diminished. Other cast members were aware but powerless. Dustin Diamond later wrote that Voorhees would cry in her dressing room after particularly degrading script notes. The network's racism wasn't subtle, it was policy. Lark Voorhees survived 4 seasons of systematic discrimination, while playing a character beloved by millions who had no idea what she endured behind the scenes.
Guys, you watch that. Now, here's a quick one. Obviously, that's hearsay, right? We don't have any proof that that happened. That's number one. But what we want to comment is, do you think that knowing that this could have happened in many, many ways, whether it be Hollywood, whether it be workplaces, whatever happened back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, do you think that people of color or who are different are pushing back against what happened to them? It's like this fight. Do they say, you did it, so we're going to do it? It's probably, I don't think it's correct, but, do you blame them in some ways? I mean, have a look what happened. They said she was too dark. She's a beautiful young lady. I mean, diversity is great. I reckon it's fantastic. I reckon the show was great, having a diverse cast, all those kind of things. Everyone fit, everyone worked well. There was no tension. But if that's true, how did they work, those executives? All they cared about was money, time, and how much profit they're going to make, right? Think about it. And then it came out, if people are thinking like this, what do you think that other people are going to with people of color or people who are different are going to hit back with. They see this happening and they hear this happening because the first reaction I said, oh, wow, okay. I just want to have an opinion to see what actually has impacted today's society with those kind of opinions. Are people taking back their power? People of color, people are different. Are they taking back their power and punishing people who had nothing to do with it, let's be honest, but for the actions of people in the past? So this is a real weird one to come across. But I mean, I'm looking at them, shaking my head and go, what, they wanted to lighten her up and all that stuff? That's bad, man. Really? You can't. I'll be honest with you, I'm not surprised. Humanity, I'm not surprised anyone's capable of anything. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, and I look at entertainment, all they're trying to do is trying to get in some cases, Thundercats getting their toys and, He-Man getting their toys sold, ratings, okay, looking as perfect as possible. The perfect Ken and Barbie look, if you want to put it that way, however you want to put it. But to the detriment of what? And did this racist kind of acronym coming through for this young lady, did it affect her? Of course it did. Did it affect society on the way they look at things? I mean, I heard it and I've gone, wow, are people fighting back on what happened? I mean, is that a catalyst? Is it basically playing tennis? You did it, we're going to get you back because you did it to our people or whatever it may be. Interesting thing. But you have to look at it in another way, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry about the color of his skin or anything like that. What about how she felt as a person? She was a young actress trying to go up in the world and, thinking, okay, the world's perfect. But you got some attitudes in that way. And look, it always happens with elites. This, WWF, all those guys, those, we all see it. We can't prove it, but we know something's going on. They just go, hang on a minute. We can make assumptions of what's going on, but we can't prove it. But are people doing this to disrupt some innocent person's career? Or are they doing it because it's socially acceptable or it's their thoughts? They don't think it's going to sell because it's someone different. It comes down to money, comes down to the elites that want all this power. There's so much we don't know, ladies and gentlemen, but you have to step back and go, okay, what would happen if they did treat them fairly? Everybody, doesn't matter what nationality, skin color, whatever. We picked the best person for the best job. Did it fit the character? Did it fit the scene? And let's get it happening. Fair enough. That's how I look at things. Obviously, in this case, it wasn't. But Saved by the Bell is an awesome show. But we all know that things happen, down in the doldrums or in the dungeons of what happened. The video from Gold Legacy, I recommend you. I'll put it up on my website and also on this channel and on this chat. So what I'll do is Golden Legacy, I think it's called. I'll get a link and I'll chuck that up on the chat here and you'll be able to have a look at it. But yeah, interesting things. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we can go into, but this one particularly, is it stereotypical of the opinions back in the day? And then they've changed it over and they've gone, that wasn't acceptable, which is fine. But then again, you have to ask yourself, is that being carried forth and saying this poor girl was discriminated against and then holds a grudge, or people who go, oh, and now we're going to turn the tables on society today? Might not be happening for normal people, but I don't know. But I look at it this way, that could be an issue. But as I said to you, man, have a look at it. Lightening the one that got me was lightening the camera angles. I mean, what the blazes were they thinking? If that is correct, and you can assume everything, but that kind of stuff is unbelievable. I mean, there's so much bias in there. People, that's why people might feel oppressed because of this. But I mean, we have come a long way in the world, and we have to actually accept that we're not like that anymore. We're actually doing videos like this to say, okay, this is what happened. Is it what's happening in society? Has that affected? So have a look. Maybe chuck out some more videos and see if there's any more conspiracy theories or whatever it may be, or opinion pieces of what happened back in the 70s and 80s that could have affected the opinions of people today and how they react. Hey, and justified. As I said, I'm not saying that people aren't justified in their thoughts, because if you have a look at that, you don't blame them. But let's have a look at it. Let's look at the line, step around the periphery of this and go, interesting. Who's at fault here? And I think we can know what's going on here. I believe it's all about money and the look, which is ridiculous in my book. Yes, there is a little bit of a look that you have to have. Oh, mate, people try to get the best out of them on TV and all those kind of things. There's another whole segment we can talk about. But to play with people's lives like that, it's probably not right. So I just want to do a big shout out first. I got a book, a great book. Have a look. We'll just get the light out of it. Life is Fighting by Killer Kross. And I just want to do a shout out that I just got this the other day and had a bit of a flick through. I'm going to have a good read through it. But an amazing person. And I know why I got it. It's very similar to the journey of a Whitefeather, where he actually talks not just about wrestling. He's a pro wrestler. Sorry, I should have said that. Pro wrestler, Killer Kross, on the independents, won the NXT title in WWE, went to the main roster. I think he was misused with his beautiful wife, Scarlett. He was totally misused. And they let him go. Yeah. Got himself over, and then they let him go. I'll let you read into that, and you probably, if you type in Killer Kross Let Go by WWE, you'll see a lot of opinion videos on how the opinion is he got himself over and suddenly he goes, Rusev. Anyway, that's my take on that. But what a fantastic book. The one that got me on this one was his spiritual journey and talking about going and practicing Buddhism and getting his mind right, understanding himself, his soul, his spirit. And I think I'd love to meet him one day and have a chat to him about how he got himself into a point of life where his mind, his heart was in balance. How he became the person, just as I did. What did he do? What made him think that, say, I've got to believe in myself, but I have to have boundaries and I have to have my inner strength within me. And is it turning to Buddhism? Is it the theories, the practices that they do? Okay, the Native Americans, which I look at, the way they look at spirit and the way they understand people and how we are part of the earth. But in a magnificent read so far, and I've just gone through, let's say flick through it, but I want to do a big shout out to Killer Kross. Fantastic, my friend. Looking forward to meeting you very, very soon. So we're doing an opinion video, of course. You've seen my videos that I go around, go to Perth, go to Canada, go in Melbourne, wherever. But I want you to have a look at this one. I hope it gives you some lesson in life. I always leave it open. I never, ever say what's coming up, because I like to say that if you're watching this video, and I'm very appreciative, take this message, take it away, write it down, and hopefully it helps your life. Enjoy the message. We'll catch you soon. Yeah, guys, how you going? It's Jay here from Journey of a Whitefeather, right here in the Canadian Rockies. Look at that water, man. You can't go wrong. Mate, if you're an Aussie, you're Steve Irwin. What can I say? He probably jump out, come on, let's go and get that water, see what's in there. See if there's some sharks or some crocodiles. But the whole point of it today is, guys, we've been through 50 years and I've got a life PhD. What I mean by that is all my experiences and everything I've gone through. I want to help you through what you're going through. I mean, to get here and stand here and do a Journey of a Whitefeather video right in the Canadian Rockies. Look at this. I'm just looking at some beautiful scenery. It's unbelievable to be here. But it's a lot of hard work as well. But also it's very spiritual to see where I have got to in my life. I just want to say one thing with regards to your friends. Your friends are a spiritual connection. There's going to be people that come and go in your life. But you've got to remember that those people that really care about you, make sure you keep them close to your heart. But also make sure you have boundaries. But you'll know when you know exactly where you are in life and what you're doing is for the best betterment of yourself. You know those people will attract you and they'll help you through. People are people pleasers. I've been that all my life. Okay? I've thought I'm doing the betterment for them and betterment for me. No, it's always betterment for them. Okay, which is great. You're supposed to give, but you're supposed to give back to yourself as well. Remember, you are the diamond within yourself, and it only took me 50 years to find that out. But the last 5 years have been wonderful, and have a look at this. This is what it's all about. I'm standing right here. Look at this, in the heart
land, heart, I say, of Bret Hart, Calgary, Alberta, Canada, doing a video talking about friendships, talking about myself, and talking about the friendship you have with yourself and your heart. Thank you so much for your undivided attention and being here in this beautiful town, this beautiful country of Canada, and of course Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Thank you so much for having me and Journey by Whitefeather. Thank you so much. Be the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. You know I'm going to say it. I've been called Steve Irwin 65 times, but what can I say? G'day, mate. Have a great one. Throw a ship on the Barbie. And remember, your friends are like flow. The flow of the water, the flow of your life. Thank you so much, and we'll speak to you soon.
Welcome back to the Robin Hood Effect, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed that message, of course. There's always something in every message that I go through, whether I'm in Perth, I'm right next island, in Canada, Vancouver, wherever, Calgary. It's the energy I'm in and the frequency I'm in. And I get to that point where I see and feel myself that these are the lessons that I'm going to be taught because I'm in that vibration. I can understand it more than when I'm not really, when I'm in the matrix, I guess, and working and all that stuff. So your vibration's a little bit low because you've got to get your vibration and frequency right. Do a bit of fun now, ladies and gentlemen, getting back to the old 80s. And I'm going to put this video on. We used to always joke about WWE, WWF at the time. And one of my favorite tag teams, it was always a joke between my manager, Julian James, when I was a pro wrestler, where we used to always joke around about these two guys. And they were fantastic. We used to go, Oliver, Strike Force. Tito Santana, Rick Martel. Watch this video, couple of minutes. Girls in Cars, Robbie Dupree. Watch the video, and I'll be back straight after this.
They pass you on the road with a smile and you have to look twice. And you wonder to yourself, could a woman
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed that one. The pole driver album was awesome, wasn't it? Have a look at that. Even got the figures over here. So, yeah. What I wanted to go on about with this one was going back into the past and really getting that energy up. Wrestling's always been a big thing, as you can see in my life. You can see so much pro wrestling. It's just that fantasy and getting that into that mode of, okay, we have another life, and taking you away from the life that you're at, depending on how bad you're feeling or where you're feeling. It's giving you the vibration and energy to actually get to a point in life where you're actually putting a smile on. And you can go back to that and you take that into consideration when it comes to adulthood. Everyone regresses. People want to be young. I think people just want to be happy and get that childhood love back and that fun again. And that's what this video was all about for us, because it brought back a lot of memories with regards to the 80s and 90s. We used to sit down and watch the wrestling. They fought the Hart Foundation to win the titles with the Boston Crab. I can't believe he tapped out to a Boston Crab. But I think I use these times now, ladies and gentlemen. This is a bit of an advice for you to use these times in life that you had and bring them back out so you can raise your vibration. You might be having a really bad time in your life. Something's happened. Whatever happens to lower your vibration. Come out of a relationship, you're in a bad relationship or whatever it may be, but your vibration, your frequency is right down. You don't have anyone to turn to. If you go back and think about things like chuck on a video of YouTube and go, I remember that cartoon. I remember that song. It takes you back, and that will raise your vibration. You might still be in the problem, but at least you've got some sort of hope. You can see the stars. You can see the light. So my advice would be, get your journal out, as I keep telling you. Go back to the 80s and go, right, what got me happy? What made me? Get your journal out and go, right, what made me happy? What were the times in my life? And you sit there reflecting. But also, I think the big thing is understanding that frequency and that love that you had for life. You had that fantasy, like you're living that dream that you are the heavyweight champion of the world. You are successful. You're at that end goal where you are Superman, Supergirl, whatever you mean, on the top of the Justice League, whatever it may be, some sort of success, but you can feel that vibe and that energy going through. And if you can keep that vibe and energy with the people around you and your environment, which is pretty hard, don't get me wrong, but keep that fun happening. You've got to do it for you. And if you don't do it for yourself, it's really weird. You pick someone or pick something in your life. Why are you here? And that's another thing. So to actually get that power, that drive back, work out what you're doing it for, and then pick something out. Have a look. Pro wrestling. Might be a song, might be a theme, might be a match for me. Like I watched, 89 SummerSlam. We're watching Hart Foundation versus the Brainbusters. Okay, 87 Survivor Series. Great times. Even though I was in a crappy position, or I was in an environment which was basically the Dungeon of Doom. And there's nowhere near the amount of happiness that I had in my life. I had nothing pretty much. Now that I look back on it, I was just making my own happiness in my own world. And this was part of it. So I want you, ladies and gentlemen, I know it's a Strike Force type thing. You see the figures, as I said, the figures. I'm laughing. It makes me happy because I remember the times. Okay. I even remember the time when my friends, they were talking about Strike Force back in the day. Okay. I still bring them, go, I remember that. And if you think about it, ladies and gentlemen, you go back and you regress and you inform and have a bit of a chat about it, it does bring yourself up. And if you can keep and grab that momentum and bring it into your life, it's an amazing feeling. And I think the most important thing is you realize that if I have to go back and do that, you can make some adjustments in the current present day. So if your environment's crap or your people, you might be aware of it. You might not be able to get out of it, but at least you're aware that goes, okay, I might not want to be here, or how can I improve it? And some of the things I can do, that's why I mentor. I help people, talk people through, because a safe, authentic space is huge, absolutely huge. And I think being within yourself and being trusted within yourself, as I said, going back to pro wrestling or listen to music or whatever it may be, watching horror movies, whatever it may be, you had your own little bubble. You got to do that when you're an adult too. Even though we've got the Matrix and they force you, I don't know, well, you fall into it. whatever it may be. Go to work, come home, pay taxes, da 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 da. Killing your spirit, eh? Don't let them kill your spirit. Just make sure you have time for yourself. And even if it comes in, as I said, mindless YouTube, but for that, they can't go, oh, wow. And we talked about Saved by the Bell earlier, another show that I watched when I was younger. And I go, oh, I remember that. And I've always loved the old 80s and reminiscing about it. So take that on board, ladies and gentlemen. Find the fun. If you have to go back and go, oh, look at these figures. They're great. This is what I had when I was a kid. And you go, oh, if someone comes up to you and go, oh, you're a kid again, quote them what I talk about. I'm trying to have fun. I'm just going to reminisce and get that energy back up. And if they don't understand that, well, maybe it's time for you to educate them. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Jay for the Journey of a Whitefeather, the Robin Hood Effect, opinions and views. Something different today, guys, impromptu, but thank you so much for joining me. And I really love what I'm doing at the moment, getting some really good momentum. And I really appreciate everyone who downloads, has a watch of the videos. And to all the guests, we just had Bisha from Stormrake on, cryptocurrency. What an absolute legendary guy. We had Kylie from Beat the Reset. We had my friend Kat. We had my friend Kat on, who's from the One Nation Party. And we've had so many great overseas guests like Brianna from Light and Breezy. Okay, we had Michaela Chapman. She was amazing. She's a psychic from Gold Coast. But I'm just so blessed to be doing what I'm doing. And I want to do a big shout out, of course, to a couple of people. Sarah from Divine Intuition Healing, the birth of Divine Journeys. I'm so excited about this project. You can check it out on my Spotify, on my YouTube, episode 1, parts 1 and 2. It's a bit of a ramble, I'll tell you that right now, but we get to the heart of what we're doing. We're talking about what we love, and that's getting into our heart space and giving people teachings to get better, and how the lessons that we've learned can be helped with you. Also, the OG, my soul family, Cortez Medford, the FS Code, his new launch business, amazing. Diana from Trailblaze of the Universe. We've got Sarah from Big Soul Healing. We Are Life Theories. You can check us out on YouTube and Spotify. And also, my soul family, Jackie Lyons over in Canada. Thank you so much for everything you do. And also Solomon King in the great state of Houston, Texas. I'm so blessed to know these people, ladies and gentlemen, everyone who's been on the podcast, and so many more. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And remember, hype, motivation, unstoppable energy equals undisputed purpose. Remove your mask, write your story. And, Bret always says, Bret Hart, my mate, my hero, best there is, best there was, best there ever will be. Take care. We look forward to seeing you on the next episode of The Robin Hood Effect. Take care.